Managed to get their first win in the Premier League, was it last weekend? But came up against a Tottenham team that were unbeaten as well in the league at the other end of the table. Tottenham win the game 1-0, courtesy of Mickey van der Ven goal. Another Maddison assist, Robbie. His numbers and productivity just seems to be so impressive. But I think a good win for Spurs, another great win for Spurs as we go into the international break. Unbeaten. Down to 10 men, Basuma getting sent off for 2 yellow cards. Yeah. And another question asked of Ange and his team, and another sort of exercise of them coming through those questions.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. The biggest surprise of the season so far is Tottenham Hotspur, top of the league table. It's incredible. Into the international break in October. I mean, they benefited last weekend from poor refereeing. We know that, a big, huge error. Yeah. They benefited in this game in a slightly different way. Adebayo misses from a few yards out. They are making teams pay when they don't take their opportunities. Maybe that's a better way of saying it. But they're finding ways. Maddison is a star player. James Maddison's been his work on the outside there to get round and pull the ball back with his left foot. And finding Van der Ven was excellent. And the big centre-back, I mean, kind of light on his feet to open up his hips and to poke it with his left foot, side foot into the back of the net.
Finish, wasn't it?
On 10 men, where, I mean, Basuma Rob was, that's not good. Like, we don't want that. We don't want diving, in the game. And I think, we had JJ Watt in the studio, Rob, this weekend, and he was in around our studio for much part of the day. And, as an NFL guy and an American football guy and, of course, the American sports legend, if you like, he like many of my American friends, they don't get the diving, the flopping as they call it. It bothers them. I mean, JJ's saying, like, he should be embarrassed there. He should be embarrassed to throw himself to the ground. And I said, but in certain parts of the world, it's seen as a skill to be able to deceive the referee and get a penalty or something. So absolutely. I totally agree with him, by the way. Hate to see diving. It's a shame because they need to do that. Basuma's such a good player. He's having such a good season. No. So that made it harder for them, Rob. But they still, I don't know, at the moment, when it's going for you, it's going for you. And their football's great. The rebuild, I just hinted at them in my Man United rant. They've changed half of the team, and yet it's so identifiable now, the Spurs team, the way that they play, the tactics that they use, the approach, the demeanour of the team, and they're winning. It's amazing to see.
Absolutely. Just heard James Maddison was at a charity event today and was asked obviously about Tottenham and his start and playing for Ange. And he just had a couple of simple things, Rob, where he went, first of all, he's a really good man and you enjoy playing for him. Yeah. He said he's an excellent coach that's undervalued. He said, he's worked with a few on the training ground. He said, excellent on the training ground. And he said he's endangered a team spirit amongst them, Rob, which he said not all great teams have, all good individuals or good players, but he said he's made us more of a group. And he said those three things added to, they've got a bit of ability, they're learning. Some might say they've had a bit of luck on, Adebayo doesn't score or things have gone for them. But they're absolutely earned the right. And it takes me, Rob, to my underappreciated performer of the week. It might be one who was definitely under the radar, maybe one that people wouldn't think of. And Mickey van der Ven's getting a lot of plaudits for him coming into the league.
I had him, Rob, didn't I, a couple of weeks ago?
Good athlete. You had him a couple of weeks ago, absolutely, and scores the goal this weekend. But I'm going to go, mate, for his centre-back partner, Christian Romero, who, in English football, when people come into the league, Rob, we watch him for maybe 3 or 4 games and then we go, right, we put opinion on him, bosh. Big fingerprint on the top of the head. Romero's decent, but no emotional control, fiery, wants to get his foot in. And I know we both said, don't mind a bit of that fire as long as he can control it, because it's not a bad trait to have, certainly as a centre-half. Well, what I've seen under Ange, Rob, is a more tempered, controlled Romero. There's still been a bit of fire in there once or twice. I've seen a Romero who can pick a pass out, mate, from the right side with Van der Ven, hit a nice long diagonal, step into midfield and play if he has to and start an overload. I've seen a Romero who's happy to go one-on-one and defend when they squeeze in and those full-backs go on. I've seen a Romero who scores a goal at Brentford, has a concussion, wants to stay on. His manager drags him off, disappointed, but wants to play. I've seen a guy who looks to me at 25 years of age as though he's enjoying the maturity and the responsibility being in a young team, being next to a young centre-back, and every time I see him, Rob, I like him more. And the little bit of fire, I just think, John Terry had a little bit of that fire that made him different, and Nemanja Vidic, if people go back, had a little bit of fire. They could play, Rob, but they also had, and they put their head in there. I don't mind that in a team, and Christian Romero's one of those players who won't get the plaudits, because it'll be Maddison and Sonny and Van der Ven's come in, and those fullbacks. Christian Romero's been sneaky good for them this season. I thought he was excellent at the weekend.
Yeah, I like him. And he's a beast. I mean, I remember Ange said a couple of weeks ago that in training, the players stay away from him.
In training, yeah.
He's an absolute animal.
Yeah, which is good, isn't it? You
aggressive.
want one of them in your team, Rob, don't you?
Where did we see him, Rob? We saw him live. Was that the season before this one? Last season, we went to Villa Park.
Season before.
We saw Villa Park.
Yeah, Spurs-Villa.
Yeah, Spurs beat them 4-1.
Spurs beat them 4.
But he looked tough.
And he was tackling and flying on him. We were like, wow.
Wow, he's a tough. I mean, even the sound of him, tackling was like, God, this guy. So it's a good shout. I'll tell you what, mate.
Yeah.
I had Mickey Van der Ven. You have Romero. I'll tell you what, Pedro Porro and Udogie. Destiny Udogie. These guys aren't going to be far off. The next few weeks, we could have a whole Spurs back four underappreciated because we don't know.
And by the way, let me chuck in.
And the goalkeeper,
by the way, Vicario.
I know, done well, sneaky good.
When all these goalkeepers who we're talking about, he looks dodgy.
Absolutely,
we're not saying anything about Vicario, by the way.
We're not. No, really, really good shout. Yeah, really good. And Spurs, fair play. I love it. I think this is a breath of fresh air in the Premier League this year to have a Spurs.
Absolutely.
And we've been to that stadium. It's an incredible stadium with 62,000 people.
Incredible.
That now are like, I mean, this is away from home, but it's good to see those people enjoy themselves again. And all the Spurs fans that we know around NBC and stuff, like, this is fun to watch for them. And guys, so unexpected. They shouldn't be doing this, given Harry Kane left the club. It must be nice if you're a Spurs fan not to be reliant on one guy in Harry Kane to score all the goals. Goals and quality coming from the whole of the team is still a good news story. So well done, Spurs. Found a way against Luton Town. And Luton, we'll see. We'll see on Luton. They're going to fight all the way. Love the story. We know that, and how hard it is to compete at this level. When they had one of the lowest budgets in the Championship last year, and they got promoted. I mean, so difficult to be competitive. But no, Spurs and Romero's a good shout.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And for even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock. And be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend on USA Network and on Peacock. We will see you there.